with me, Christina and National Parents Union. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all thriving. Hello, America's beautiful children. We love you. And so today we have some dynamic guests on this special edition, Scholars Speak. And I would like to bring them in so they can introduce who they are and talk about where they're at right now. Hello, Gabrielle and Lauren. How are you? There we go. Hello, turn your mic on. Okay, hi. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lauren Roberts. I'm a college freshman at North Carolina A&T State University, and my major is biomedical engineering, and I'm originally from the Los Angeles area.
Gabrielle.
My name is Gabrielle McClanahan, and I'm a sociology major at Palomar College in California. And right now, I'm still working with my nonprofit, the Empowerment Center in this area.
Nice. So I'm so glad to see you ladies. You inspire me all the time. Like, and when I first met you, you were in high school, and there were some experiences, you know, me as a civil rights activist and humanitarian, I was always looking at ways to combat discrimination. And so at the high school campus where you guys were going, there was just something that had erupted. And talk about your experience with that.
Do you want to go, Lauren?
You can go first.
Okay, so at our high school, we were in a predominantly Caucasian and it was mostly other groups, it was mostly Caucasian students at our school. And, you know, it was just like as African American students, our BSU was really small, originally starting with like less than 10 students. Lauren and I were actually I was treasurer and then Lauren was president. And for 2 years, and we over time grew that to about 30 to 40. Like our numbers changed a little bit, but we had a big boom because we realized that there were so many negative influences around and that our voices were not being heard.
Right.
So this specific event, there were like there were honestly a lot of different moments where other students had crossed the lines over the 2 years. And as our BSU leaders, we took it upon ourselves to really go up and stand up to, you know, our administration, to our other students and say, hey, this is going on and we can't ignore it anymore. And we really were able to help a lot of other students embrace who they were, make their own place on campus, and to, you know, have the courage to say like, hey, you can't do that around me, or you can't say that around me, or I'm not comfortable when you're listening to that kind of music. Like, it's just not appropriate for me. It doesn't make me feel heard, seen, or accepted on a campus where I'm already the minority. So it was, you know, it was a long process, but it took a lot of support of teachers and staff.
Right. And so, you know, for those of you that don't know what BSU stands for, that's the Black Student Union, and it is an organization within the school environment, right? And so I always talk about how can we make the most impactful change from within the school environment so the voices of our children are heard. And the BSU really stepped up to the forefront of those issues and began to, you know, just try to push for impact and change, right? And we've had these conversations, and I'm like, however I could support you guys in your efforts so that we can get these issues, you know, start dealing with them, because no one should be at school feeling the way that you guys were feeling. And your school had about 2% Black students, if that. And so when I first went there and I see like 3,700 students on this campus, and there's only like 1.7% Black, no, we have to do something, right? And we need to do it now. And so utilizing BSU to function in that capacity is huge. And I'm so proud of the work that you all did. Lauren, do you want to talk about your experiences, you know, during that time?
Yes, so I went to Great Oak High School for the last 2 years of my high school experience, originally from Carson, the South Bay area in LA County. And I did not predict what would be ahead. I came from a high school with predominantly students of color, and transitioning to Great Oak High School was very difficult, to say the least. Like Gabby mentioned, there were a lot of instances where students or teachers had crossed the line, and I was originally in the Black Student Union at my previous school, and I knew for sure when I was transferring that I would also be present in that club. And I just wanted to provide a safe space for Black students to be able to speak about the experiences and the issues that they see and experience every day. And at the time when I first transferred to Great Oak High School, there was no established Black student union. And I'm glad that we were able to grow the numbers and become as strong as they are now.
Right. And so one thing that I loved about you all is that you were very innovative and very responsive. So when things took place, you guys were responding right away, pushing for change. And out of that came the Change Forum to stand up against discrimination, which is a legacy that you set forward that even continued after you left, right? And so talk about how you were able to push for change with the forum that people could attend on campus.
With the Forum for Change, we had our biggest goal with that was really to change the culture on campus.
Right.
And so it took a lot of organization with the teachers and then getting different staffs and people who are heads of different teams. Also almost focusing on like the areas where we knew like if there was a certain problem that happened involving this sports team and this one, we want both those teams in the room. So it was just like, okay, and how can we get everyone together and who can speak, who can come in and teach and actually like educate on the different lifestyles that are around us, like the different experiences people bring when everyone comes into the room, because we don't know who's around us. We don't know the different things that people have gone through. So when we're only thinking of ourselves, we can't really consider, what's politically correct, if you will. So,
Right.
and so with the Forum for Change, I think, we the way we did it with the breakout sessions and then coming with the giant speaker and then having this person come and then go into the small groups and discuss. I think that really was impactful, even with bringing students from other schools into our campus, to one, make sure that everyone knows that they're not alone in the experiences that they've had, and two, to make sure that everyone knows they now have someone they can turn to, and that if not for the other 3,500 students on campus, there's at least like 200 in this room where
Right.
I have a friend in you, I have someone who will understand me in you, and I don't have to be alone on campus, and there's enough people on this campus to support me if I feel X, Y, and Z.
Right. And what do you feel about the impact, Lauren, from the forum? For the first one, I know that it was huge, right? Took a lot of work, but made it happen, and was able to, like Gabriel said, bring in other students from other schools, community leaders, just, people that could speak to the issues directly. And this took place during a 2-hour block during the school day, which a lot of people, didn't think would happen, but we worked to make it happen. And so how do you feel the impact of that was?
I was glad to see that the outcome of the Forum for Change, we gained a lot of support from not only students, but also administration and community members. And it really helped us to set a foundation and continue to promote change through activism. And at the Forum for Change events, even though some students weren't able to relate specifically to the stories, I'm glad a lot of them were able to listen and able to empathize and really just be cognizant of what other people are going through, and that, like Gabby said, we are all friends and we just want to come to an understanding.
And you ladies were in various organizations and groups on campus during that time. And so talk about those experiences that you had in other groups and other organizations outside of BSU.
That was, I think that was honestly a really exciting part where I didn't realize that my voice was being heard in so many different arenas. So I would literally leave from like a planning meeting with BSU and go into my next class, and they were finding out that I was just on the school announcements telling my story of discrimination. And I was like, are you serious? Like,
Right.
they're like, that was amazing. I'm so sorry you went through that. Oh my gosh. And I was like, wow, like that's crazy just to see, like, there are so many people who really don't know, but
Right.
also just because, or not because, like, there's also people who are like allies in that. You're like, oh my gosh, how can I help you? How else can I stand up? I didn't realize that you had this going on. Can I come to a meeting now? Like, there were so many of these different things where I was able to even, you know, pull from the support from my different groups and be like, okay, we can do this. Like, it's not just, you know, the 2% Black kids on campus. We got about half these kids supporting us.
Right.
And you can really start, you can really start a movement, and you can start change and build influence when you know that you have these different people supporting you. And I honestly think it was, a lot of it was my family too, because as I said, I work with a nonprofit. They work with youth and families to build resilience and give strength and all of these, you know, to build kids up to be stronger and to give the solutions to families to have successful families. So when I had a community of people behind me saying, well, you guys should do this, and maybe you should talk to these people and make sure that your message is being heard in this place, and this place. And it was just really empowering, only just to have, you know, so many strong voices and people, both students at a peer level and people who are adults and who've gone through it, to say, all right, here's what we got to do to make it better for you guys.
Right. What about your organization and how that was impactful for you, Lauren?
So at the time we were organizing the Forum for Change event, I was also a member of Peer Leaders, which is an organization geared towards promoting kindness and having programs at local elementary schools and middle schools. And with their support, we were really able to push this project forward. And I was also involved in Students Demand Action, which was a student-led organization based on speaking up about gun violence. And through the support of both of those organizations, we were really able to have the outcome and receive the impact that we were looking for.
And so, you know, I am so glad that, you know, you all utilized your connections within the community, you know, connections within organizations on campus, but mainly utilized BSU as a vehicle to push for this movement within the school environment for change and progress. And no, we're not going to accept the status quo. We've talked about that, right? Like not accepting the norms because it's not okay. And you all have the ability in this generation and in this time to bring in a new era of just showing the truth, right? And so utilizing BSU within the educational environment is huge. And like I said, it's now created the foundation in that entire district where there's forums throughout the year. And, you know, having the community support is also very important. And people need to understand that, that they really need to come alongside you all and support during times like that, because let me tell you, it's not just when you're at school. When you go home, these things follow. And we know how social media kept kicking the dust up on the discrimination pieces and how you guys had to keep reliving these moments over and over, because on social media, people would just not let it die. But I'm so happy and proud of you guys for being overcomers, and for continuing to be unrelenting and consistent in that battle. And so also, I want to acknowledge that, you know, this doesn't look the same in all schools, right? You all had the admin and the educators that were saying, we're going to back this movement and we're going to do X, Y, Z. And so that was a huge piece of it, because there's other students that wanted to participate and couldn't because they didn't have that support. And so I think that that was unique about where you all were going. So talk about what you ladies are doing right now, currently.
Do you want to go, Lauren?
You can go.
Okay. So as I said, right now I'm a student at Palomar College studying sociology. And then I commute to school and I stay at home working with our nonprofit, the Empowerment Center. Specifically in this season, just because of how COVID has come, my main heart and main passion was, you know, community outreach, and we can't really be in the community. Like,
I feel you.
Right. So we're like, what do we do? But like, it was like 2 days of like, okay, let's, you know, like deep strategy plans. So along with the moving school to online, and my parents have been a really great help in that, just to keep, you know, studying and to keep pushing and to not, I mean, okay, so as I said in the bio that it said on the flyer, we not only want to adapt to our environments, but influence them. And that's truly been, you know, where my parents are like, okay, adapt, but how are you going to be the best in this environment? And that was the same thing that we had to do with our organization. We had to pivot. So we honestly, you know, we couldn't be out in the community doing all of the events and classes we had scheduled. So we turned everything online. So we, you know, I've just been going really hard online and helping build the Empowerment Center. We have like there's daily, or not daily, almost daily live streams going on for all of the fee-based classes are now being changed over to free classes, and everything for resilience packages. We just had our Giving Tuesday Now. It's like the nonprofit version for Giving Tuesday, which is like a donation platform, specifically during COVID. And it was, you know, it's really just amazing to see, to give back in a time where people are, you know, supposed to be giving too. And so we were really just, you know, free resilience packages, there's family and life solutions on Facebook Lives. We're having free parent resilient resources. And it's kind of surprising actually, because there's so many problems arising as everything went into the homes, but there's less being reported. So on the outside, it looks like all these, you know, horrible things, like different domestic abuse or different mental illness rates and all of these things in both children and parents. There's a lot that seemingly has gone down, but it's not, because the schools were the #1 reporters. And last month was National Child Abuse Prevention Month. And then right now we come into May as National Mental Health Awareness Month. And so really with our organization, we've been pushing like, okay, look, here's the resources right now, because we're all going through quarantine and it's been hard on a lot of families. So we want to be there for these other people. So that's really been my focus right now in this time with both school and the organization, which is what can we do with the most of sitting at home.
That's amazing. I am so proud of you. In many ways, you make my heart glad. Both of you ladies do. And so, Lauren, talk about what you're up to right now, what you're doing.
So right now for me is finals week. I'm finishing up the school year, my freshman school year at the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. And prior to this experience, I was on the East Coast, and you know, we were acknowledged about the pandemic, and I wasn't sure if I was able to make it home safely, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to get on the airplane and all of that. So I was really caught off guard. And gratefully, I'm able that I was able to make it home. And now I've just been, like Gabby said, I've been able to adapt to the environment and make sure that I'm focused on my studies, my academics, while also thinking about everything that is going on right now. I'm surprised to hear that they're the opening up the society when obviously the numbers aren't decreasing at all.
Right. I think that there are many of us that are really curious as to how that's going to look. And, you know, people keep saying, hey, are you going to go out? No, I'm Black and I'm sheltering in place because
Right.
our numbers, and I am not going to be, I don't want to be in that number. Okay. So I think that safety first. And your well-being and livelihood as priority, and you guys are amazing. You know how to adapt resiliently, consistently, unrelenting. And I just, you know, I thank you for even inspiring me during meetings and different things and saying, this is what's going on and what we talk about this, right? Like, how can we push for change? And I'm talking about foundational, lasting change, because that's what we want, right? And so, you know, share how your experiences in the movements that you have been in, you think will shape your future.
I think for me, I got a good look around in my high school years because it wasn't, you know, all of those years, it wasn't all bad. But I grew up in this area where the bad stuff was okay. And then, you know, growing up, I was deeply connected to the community, like my family and community that we run with the organization. And they were telling me like, no, that's not okay. And so I think those years in school gave me the understanding, and they gave me, you know, allowed me to find my footing in what I'm going to accept in my life moving forward. Allowed me to build up standards almost pretty much of like, okay, you know, they may be cool, they may be a nice, you know, fun person, but I don't have to be emotionally connected with them. Like you know, I was given the tools to say and, you know, create a boundary of like, okay, what kind of people am I going to accept in my life? What kind of relationships? And not just, you know, in a, oh, cut somebody off kind of way, but like being able to have an honest conversation with someone and be able to communicate with each other and say, you know, this is what I want. This is what is acceptable for me. This is why I feel that way. And how can we move forward? And I think that there was a lot of the, you know, moments in high school that were not that great allowed me to really, you know, work on that no muscle.
Right.
Be like, okay, you know, I'm not okay with this. And I'm not just gonna sit back and be like, well, that was funny, haha, and then just kind of like hide and look back. Like, no, there's, you know, you really have to shape the world that you live in. And I think that's really, it's encouraged me now where I can look back and be like, wow, I'm thankful for the experiences that I had in high school and for the people around me who were able to say, stand up for what you want and stand up for, you know, what's okay and what's not okay. And that's not really a skill that's given to a lot of kids. So, you know, when we grow up, now I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, I know that I'm not going to continue this relationship. Like, I know that I'm not going to, you know, pursue something in the way that I would have, whether that's like friends or teachers or anyone around. I'm like, this is not a safe person, or this is someone I can trust in. And I'm really thankful for my high school years and for the people who I had around.
How about you, Lauren?
During those 2 years at Great Oak High School, I definitely had to adjust. I wasn't used to that environment, coming from the Los Angeles area. And when I look back at it now, I am grateful that I was able to persevere through it. And after the participation I had in BSU and other organizations, it has motivated me to stand up for issues that I feel that I should be standing up for, and just to express that no one's voice should be silent and they should have the space to openly share their experiences without people like condemning them, denouncing them, and not even acknowledging what they're saying. So I'm glad that we were able to provide that space in Black Student Union, and hopefully, I hope the Black Student Unions across the district and everywhere have that same dynamic.
Yes, definitely pushing for that. And so, so grateful that you ladies have been overcomers. That makes you victorious in other areas where people are not. And I consider you future leaders right now, pushing for change within your generation, leading the movement towards progress and lasting change, but also being fortified, right? Because Gabby's talking about how now she knows what's dangerous and what's not, and she's not going to allow those unhealthy, she's establishing healthy boundaries instead of unhealthy boundaries. So definitely, kudos on that. That's difficult. It takes mastery, and that is a good thing to establish in your life at a young age. And so, do you have a final message that you'd like to share with everyone watching?
I would say find your community. Find someone who you can rely on, especially in times where we're not able to go out safely. Find people around, find an internet group, an internet community, a Facebook group, somewhere where you can connect, somewhere where you can build yourself up in a time where almost every news media outlet, source, and whatever is saying what's wrong. Find some healthy people to get you to find what's right and to identify that and to really build on that. Whatever place you can. There's also a lot of self-education right now. It's like the biggest booming industry right now. There's free stuff all over the internet, and Harvard is offering free online courses right now. Like, it's crazy. Right. But so I would say find your community and don't use this time to be in a hole stuck somewhere. Use this time as a quiet, like set-in moment to really build yourself up, and in whatever arena that puts you in. As a kid who needs help for classes, find online tutors. As a teenager who is just in college and now they don't have any support, there's college kids all around the world who are in the same place just as you. And as parents, this is a whole different world for parents where it's just like, okay, what do we do? There's different places that apply to you, and there's resources for each one. So get connected with somewhere like that, whether it's, our organization or anywhere else. The Empowerment Center is all free and available for you.
And how can they find your organization?
Yeah, so that's our Facebook is the Empowerment Center. The website is theempowermentcenterintl.com, and all of those are free and available. There's free coaching sessions and things like that.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Lauren, and give your final thought.
For anyone who's watching this, if you've ever felt belittled, if you ever felt any form of prejudice, or you felt like you were silenced by someone, I encourage you to speak up about it in a safe environment. And of course, I will be willing to listen, but hopefully I pray that you're around people who are able to support you and uplift you through your experiences. And also, whenever you see anything on social media that harms you, definitely speak up about it. Don't allow it to be encouraged without notice.
And so again, I want to thank you, ladies, for your resilience, just for your passion, your pursuit, just bringing that wisdom and that knowledge. And to everybody watching, these young ladies represent the future of who we are as the Black community, right? And we have a lot to be proud of and a lot to be thankful for. But I do have to say that it is oftentimes rough for them to get their voices to the forefront, especially when there's just people that are not really willing to let them spread their wings and fly. And so I always use this term, like, if you're not willing to dispose some of that power and let our youth take flight, then, you know, it's really hard. And we don't want to die in our power positions, not allowing for the youth voice to come up to the forefront, for them to take flight, for them to push for some more generational changes. And so I thank you, ladies, for joining me. Stay tuned, everyone. I'm not leaving yet. I do have a special announcement about HBCUs coming up. And so thank you so much. You know, I'll continue to be always on your site, talking to you all. I hope you have a wonderful, safe time during the time. In any way that I can help, I'm always here. Thank you. So right now, we have a special announcement from a special guest about the HBCUs and where they're headed. And so her name is Cynthia Adams. Hello, Cynthia. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. So go ahead and tell everyone that's watching who you are and what you do.
I am Cynthia Adams. I'm also an advocate for the HBCUs. I also work with Dr. Teresa Price, and actually she's down in Southern California. She runs the National College Resource, and she also do Black College Expo. So if you're in Southern California, you know about the Black College Expo and also about the Black College Expo in the Bay Area. This year, we had a very outstanding year in Oakland. We had about 10,000 students at the Oakland Marriott Convention Center with the Black College Expo kickoff ending actually for 2020 and getting ready to move into 2021. So what happened, as everybody knows, COVID-19 came in and was able to block a lot of the states that we was getting ready to go into. And in the process of that, getting ready to go into different states, Dr. Price was able to create online Zoom Black College Expo. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about it and saw it on Facebook, especially if you follow my page and Black College Expo page and everything. We've been actually doing Black College Expos online. Outstanding, giving large scholarships on site, students getting accepted on site for a RISE scholarship, still moving forward. Last week, I got a call from Dr. Michael Sorrell, president of Paul Quinn College, which also recruits students from Paul Quinn College. And he asked me to watch NSNBC and to send out a text for everyone could watch it on the West Coast side in time. And it was like maybe 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock our time. As we was watching that, he told me that he wanted to share some great news, but he couldn't share it until he get ready to go on to NSNBC. And if everyone watched that clipping, he did announce that they will be having a virtual graduation with 70 historical Black colleges. And it's going to be
graduation with
70. 70.
Great.
It's going to be on the 16th of June, 11 o'clock West Coast time, 2 o'clock back east, 3 o'clock back east, I believe, and 2 o'clock down south time. So I'm asking everyone to please tune into that because, as everybody knows, President Barack Obama, Michelle Obama is the keynote speaker. So this is something historical. Even though Kobe came in, tried to take us out, we're still in. So a lot of our parents, this year I have 2 nieces graduating from University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. They're graduating, but excuse me, they would not be on the call. They would not be part of that. But if you have time, take out time, please support our students. Make sure that you get online, see what's going on, and support your school if you are part of the HBCU. I have my granddaughter graduated from Howard. My youngest daughter graduated from Xavier. I have brothers, nieces, nephews, Southern, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So support your school by doing that. And I just want to say thank you so much, Christina. I love the students. They was
Yes.
outstanding. Oh my God, that was
Amazing.
so
Amazing.
amazing.
Yes.
I really feel that we do not understand what they really go through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's so important that every student be part of the Black Student Union.
Yes.
Because the Black Student Union is the place that they can go to and let out all their frustration.
And move for change.
Right, and move, make a movement. They can make a movement with that. They can make a movement.
And so,
Everybody's supposed to be able to go to school, have good time, learn what they're supposed to learn, but not to be in an environment where it's hate. Where it's
right.
hate. It is so much hate that's going on until we as the African American community, we have to support them. We have to
Right.
support them in everything that they're trying to do to make someone supported us. Someone supported us. If someone supported us, we have to support them. And I just want to thank you again for allowing me to come on and share the good news about the HBCUs and
No
get
problem.
everybody.
And so, there's
If
something coming
you
up.
want to go to HBCU, go online to Black College Expo on Friday. They're having another big expo online, so you're welcome to go on. It will be colleges accepting you on spot. Get in there, and get what you need to get for you. And thank you again.
And how can people find you for more information about the upcoming expo and the upcoming events and then the graduation?
They can find me at CynthiaAdams209@gmail.com.
All right. Well, I'm glad you were able to make that special announcement. Thank you for all your hard work and what you do for our children.
Thank you.
I'll still
Thank
be
you.
in the trenches. If they let me out, I'll be right there in the trenches with the kids.
Hey, we both are. We are definitely staying in. And again,
Right.
African American community, stay in. Do not get
Right.
tricked out. Do not get tricked out. Stay
Right.
in and stay safe.
Stay safe. Everyone stay safe. And so thank you for coming, Cynthia. I appreciate that
Thank you.
announcement. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
you all
Enjoy.
I will. Thank you. And so you all have been watching Managing Day to Day with me, Christina Lasser, and National Parents Union. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all thriving. Goodbye, America's beautiful children. We love you as always. I will see you again, same place, same time tomorrow when we have PE with Coach Robinson. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.